All right, let's talk about what makes a smart building truly smart. We're going to dive into a technology called KNX, which is basically a universal language that lets devices from hundreds of different brands all talk to each other seamlessly. Let's get right into it. I mean, haven't we all asked this question at some point? You buy a cool smart switch from one brand, some awesome smart lights from another, and then you spend the next week trying to get them to just talk to each other. It's a classic headache in building automation. Well, there's a name for this problem. It's called the walled garden. Basically, every manufacturer builds their own little world, their own ecosystem, where their devices play nicely together, but not with anyone else's. If you want to connect different brands, you're stuck buying these complex, expensive doxes called gateways. And even then, there's no guarantee it'll work right. It's just so limiting. But what if we could just tear down those walls? That, right there, is the whole point of KNX. It was created specifically to solve this problem. And when you see this logo on a device, it's not just for show. It's a certified promise. It's a guarantee that this device speaks that universal language and will work with any other certified device out there. The official name for this promise is interworking. And I love how the KNX Association puts it. They say it's the icing on the KNX cake. It really is the most valuable part of the whole system. It's the secret sauce that makes a truly open smart building possible. So, what is interworking exactly? It's pretty simple, really. It's the power for devices to send, receive, and, this is the key, correctly understand each other's data without needing any of those clunky translators in between. It's direct communication from one device to another, no matter who made it. Okay, to really get how KNX pulls this off, let's think of it just like a human language. For any language to work, you need two core things, right? You need a vocabulary, a set of words, and you need grammar, a set of rules for how to use those words. KNX standardizes both of these for smart devices. So first up, let's talk about the vocabulary. In the KNX world, the words are called data point types. You'll often just hear them called DPTs. Now, a DPT is way more than just a word. It's like a super specific dictionary entry. It spells out exactly how a piece of information is structured and what it means. It leaves zero room for any kind of misinterpretation. And what's really amazing is just how deep this goes. Take something simple like temperature. The DPT for temperature standardizes everything. The data format, like how many bits to use, the encoding, which is how those bits are arranged, the valid range so you don't get crazy values, and the physical unit, like Celsius. So when one device sends the number 22.5, every other device on the network knows that means exactly 22.5 degrees Celsius. No confusion. Period. This KNX dictionary is huge. It has thousands of these standardized words. You've got your basics, like DPT switch, which is just for on or off. Then there's DPT scaling, used for things like dimming a light from 0 to 100%. DPT value temp, for temperature, of course. And even things like DPT scene number, for calling up a specific lighting scene. Each one has a precise, fixed meaning. Okay, so we've got our vocabulary. But just having words isn't enough to have a conversation, right? You need rules. You need grammar. And in KNX, that grammar comes from something called functional blocks. A functional block is basically a standardized blueprint for a specific job. Think of it like a template for one single function on a device, like one dimmer channel on a 4-channel dimmer or the temperature sensor part of a multi-sensor. It defines exactly what that one function does and the kinds of conversations it's allowed to have. So here's how it works. First, the functional block models one specific job, like dimming a light. Second, it defines what information it needs to receive, its inputs, and what information it can send out, its outputs. For a dimmer, that might be a set percentage input and a current status output. And third, and this is the absolute key, it assigns a specific data point type to every single one of those inputs and outputs. This is where the grammar meets the vocabulary. And this, my friends, is where the magic happens. We've got our words, the data point types. We've got our grammar, the functional blocks. Now we get to see how they come together to create a real conversation between totally different devices. The tool that makes this all possible is a piece of software called the Engineering Tool Software, or ETS. It's a super powerful vendor-neutral program that lets an installer see all the KNX devices on a network and basically draw lines between them, digitally wiring them up to create the logic for the building. Okay, this is the big aha moment right here. Let's say you have a dimmer switch from manufacturer A and a light from manufacturer B. The switch has a functional block with an output designed to send a dimming level. The light has a functional block with an input that's waiting to receive a dimming level. Because both of these points are defined to use the exact same language, the same data point type DPT scaling, the installer can just link them in the software. And that's it. They understand each other perfectly. No gateways, no custom code, it just works.
So if you take away just one thing today, let it be this. It all comes down to a simple golden rule. If the data point types match, the devices can interwork. That's it. That's the entire foundation of KNX.
Now, I know this has been a bit technical, but the real-world impact of all this is absolutely massive. This deep commitment to being open is what gives the whole KNX ecosystem its incredible power. How much power are we talking about? Well, over 500 different manufacturers all make products that are KNX certified. Just let that sink in. That's a gigantic ecosystem of thousands upon thousands of devices that are all guaranteed to speak the same language. And what that means for you, for installers, for building owners is incredible. You get the flexibility to pick the absolute best device for any job, and you don't have to care about the brand. It means real competition, so you're not locked into one company's prices. It future-proofs your building, because you know you can always add or swap devices later. And it just makes for a simpler, stronger system, because you're getting rid of all those extra little boxes that can fail. So that really brings us to the big picture. KNX gives us the vocabulary and the grammar for a truly universal language in our buildings. It's a powerful idea that when you break down these artificial walls between systems, you unlock a whole new world of possibilities. It really makes you wonder, what could our buildings achieve if every single device could truly speak the same language?